two new books have just come out. We've got the Match Play Guide, which is going to expand the amount of scenarios that we can all play at tournaments and things like that. And more importantly, we've got the Armies of Middle-earth book, which has got all the characters from the books, some Games Workshop invented characters, and new army lists as well. It's still in its shrink wrap. I have found out a lot of information, but I've not looked at any of it really. So for example, I know that Gimli and Gloin are going to have a list together, but I don't know the details of that. So I'm very excited to find out. And basically, sorry to all the Patreons because I've been hiding on the Discord. I've been away for a weekend and I've just been dodging the Discord since this has come out because I didn't want to find out anything before I filmed this video. So you're going to get some initial reaction. It's not necessarily a review or a critique. I'm just really excited to get this book and finally have the game complete and hopefully ready to expand in future. But let's go. Let's see what it's all about. This is very exciting. Can I just say as well, already, I'm loving the fact we've got new artwork that's actually been drawn rather than just photos of the film. It's probably a rights issue and that's forced their hand, but I'm loving it. So we start with the Free Peoples, and it's the Battle of Bywater kind of era. It's Frodo the Nine Fingers. So this is after he's destroyed the ring and gone back to the Shire, and Sharky's there kicking up a fuss. Frodo's basically stayed the same as he was. I think he's lost heroic resolve, and obviously the mithril armor is improved where he can re-roll fate rolls of a 1, and I think that the mithril armor also lets him be immune to brutal power attacks. He's a 6-inch banner for Hobbits. He's kind of super important. Samwise the Brave is also the same as he used to be, with the exception that it costs more points now. I think he was 45 before, he's 60 now, and he's got the free heroic combat to go and save Frodo that his normal profile has. He never had that in the old Battle of Bywater list. Merry's probably one of the best fighters in the Shire, along with Sam and Pippin, as he's got 2 attacks. I'm assuming not a lot of Hobbits are going to have 2 attacks, and he has had a buff. He's gone up to fight value 4. Obviously, there's an increase in fight value across the board this edition. Merry's one of the beneficiaries of that. His Warhorn gives him the Fearless special rule now, which is a nice little bonus. And the thing I'm surprised about is that Battling Brandy books are still a thing. So plus 1 point per model, you can upgrade a Militia to be a Battling Brandy book, which gives them Strength 3. I wasn't expecting to see that this edition, but we've obviously got it with the King's Guard and other people can upgrade. Does it mean there's going to be a model for it or an upgrade kit? I'm not sure. It just seems strange with the whole, you've got to have this specific war gear to then include something that you have to convert to be able to use. Pippin's also 60 points, which seems a little bit steep, but what it does do is just reduce the horde of Hobbits a little bit. He's also fight value 4. He's got heroic accuracy because he's meant to be with the Tuckish Hunters, and Tuckish Hunters have changed. They used to make your archers or your Hobbit archers go up to fight value 3, which was always a little strange because you also wanted to leave them at the back of the board. Now they get to re-roll 1s to wound when making shooting attacks. It's not a super great rule, but if you've got a few points to spare, maybe you could drop 2 Hobbits and upgrade 10 of your archers to make them quite potent maybe. He can still re-roll failed wound rolls against heroes and monsters, so he can go take on a troll if he wants to. And he's got a little more intelligent. He's now the same intelligence as Merry when they reach the Battle of Bywater, whereas in the Fellowship, Pippin is a little bit less intelligent, if you remember. He kind of screws up in Moria. Fatty has got a tiny bit better. He's got a will point. He's got Dominant 2, which is a lot better, but in a massive horde of Hobbits, maybe not essential. And then he's got a new rule. If he attempts to charge an enemy model with the Terror special rule and fails, he can still move as normal, but he may not charge that turn. Maybe this is something to do with him distracting the ring wraiths at the start of the book. I'm pretty sure that's what he does. But that's quite cool. Little bonus. Oh, he's got 2 wounds. They've done the thing where they give larger characters an extra wound. I'm fully expecting Fall on the Fat to still have 3 wounds. Well, Fatty's gone up to 2. It's a classic Games Workshop, but 10 points. That's pretty good. Paladin Took is the other hero who can take Tuckish Hunters, just like Pippin took. So that's going to let them re-roll the 1s again. But he's got 2 special rules. He's got the same one as before, where he's got a 12-inch standfast. That's very useful for Hobbits. But more importantly, friendly Tuckish hunters, so that's the ones that have got the upgrade for a point, within 6 of Paladin gain a bonus of +1 to wound when making strikes. That's massive. That now justifies the point that you would pay to upgrade the archers to Tuckish hunters. It's one of those things where you're still going to have to throw them in again, but that makes them pretty powerful. I assume they're going to be strength 2, so that's effectively strength 4 hobbits now. I really like the look of Paladin. He's definitely next name on the team sheet after Merry, Pippin, Frodo and Sam. Now we're into some of the newer Hobbit models. I mean, they're probably 5 years old now, but the ones that they introduced with the Scouring of the Shire supplement last edition. So Will Whipfoot is 40 points now, so it's the same profile as most Hobbits in that he's fight value 2, strength 2, defense 3, 1 attack, but he's got 2 wounds and he's got 1 might, 3 will, 1 fate. His only heroic action is heroic resolve. He's got leader Hobbit sheriff, so we're not going to be seeing hordes of sheriffs. I guess they need to be led by certain people. I'm surprised Paladin Tuck didn't have that, but maybe I'm envisaging him as more of a higher up kind of personality in the Shire than he actually is. But he's got this new special rule. So I think before he used to count as a banner if he spent a point of will, but obviously that crosses over with Frodo's rule, so you don't really want the 2 of them. He's now got a new one. He spends a point of will. Hobbit warriors within 3 inches of him gain a bonus of +1 fight value to the end phase of the turn. So already, if you're within range of Will Whipfoot, Paladin, and Frodo, and you're a Tuckish hunter, you've got +1 fight value, making your fight value 3, +1 to wound, which is the equivalent of strength 4, and Frodo's giving you a banner. I'm liking how this is all stacking up together. What I am seeing though is that everything's gone up by 5 or 10 points. So the Hobbits have gone up by about 15 points on ponies, and then Paladin's gone up by 5 or 10. Will Whipfoot's gone up by 5 or 10, and all of a sudden, that's quite a lot less. That's already just those heroes is probably 10 less Hobbits in your army because they're only going to cost 4 or 5 points. I'd be surprised if a Hobbit was 6 points. Hullfoot Brace Girdle was always one of my favourite Hobbits. He's the one that gave sheriffs burly, so they didn't suffer -1 penalty when using a turned weapon. And he's doing exactly that. Hullfoot and any Hobbit sheriffs, including Robin Smallborough, within 3 inches of him, don't suffer a -1 penalty for using a turned weapon. So that's great. He's got a turned weapon, so he's essentially burly as well, so he's going to be strength 4. His stats are decent as well, decent for a Hobbit. So he's fight 3, strength 2, defense 3, but he's got 2 attacks, 2 wounds, and 2 might. For a Hobbit in the previous edition, that's crazy good. Robin Smallborough is the Gurritz of the Hobbit army list. He's gone up to 25 points from 20, but he's gained a wound, and he's got Gurritz's rule, where... Oh, it's actually better than Gurritz's rule. So in the previous edition, he had Gurritz's rule, I'm pretty sure, where he could modify reinforcements rolls on Maelstrom rolls by +1 and -1. In this edition... in scenarios where you roll for warbands to arrive and you roll to see which part of the board you deploy a warband in, you may choose the result instead of rolling, even if Robin is not on the battlefield. If you go into a tournament with Hobbits, he becomes very important because at least one of your games is going to be Maelstrom, and keeping all your Hobbits together is going to be really important. Or, depending on the scenarios, making sure they're spread out because there's only so much ground you can cover as a Hobbit. Falco Boffin is same stats as your other Hobbits, but he's got no might, 3 will, 1 fate, and he's got 2 special rules now. So he's unarmed, and if he's within 3 inches of Frodo, Frodo can use Falco's will points to declare a heroic move instead of using his own might points. That's very useful, 3 will points. But he's also got a new special rule which looks incredible. Whenever a Hobbit model within 6 inches of Falco spends a might point, they roll a d6. On a 6, the might point is free. There's now a lot of might in this Hobbit list. I mean, he's got 3 for heroic moves and is giving 1 in 6 an extra free one. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 just from the heroes we've been through so far. And they're all still dirt cheap. Yes, it's 25 points instead of 20, I think he was before. But it just adds up. That's a lot of might in this edition of the game. Right, we've got Farmer Tolman Cotton. He's got your regular Hobbit stat line, except he's got 2 wounds, 2 might, 1 will, and 1 fate. And he's got a pitchfork, which can be used as either a spear or a two-handed weapon. I would love to see more pitchforks in the game. Let's see some Morannons or some Hobbits with pitchforks, that'd be cool. Or maybe even Hillman. He's got Heroic Challenge, so he could go up to 2 attacks at +1 to wound, which would be awesome. But he'd have to be very brave. But I assume he's going to be a hero of Fortitude, so he will be able to challenge most heroes. Friendly Hobbit models within 3 inches of him can reroll rolls of a 1 when making dual rolls. So that's the same rule he had before. I've just read through Lotho, and he's very similar to before. So he's got your normal Hobbit stat line, fight 2, strength 2, defense 3, 1 attack, 1 wound. He's got 1 might, 4 will, and 1 fate, and those will are important because he can spend them to do different things. Firstly, he can't take part in any heroic actions that Frodo or Bilbo call, and then he can spend his will in one of 3 ways. He can make hobbits within 3 inches of him gain +1 to their fight value. He can make ruffians within 3 inches of him gain the fearless special rule. And then this is the big one. When an enemy model attempts to charge Lotho, he can spend a will point to make the enemy roll a dice. On a 2+, they stop within 1 inch, or stop 1 inch away from Lotho and don't charge him. So if you're playing Fog of War or similar scenario where you need to protect somebody, Lotho is the character you choose to protect. Baldo Toolpenny is next, and he's the guy that's really good at throwing stones. So on a 6, if he hits, he just causes a wound. He's also got Sharpshooter now, so he can pick the rider, or he could just take out a horse. Sharpshooter, 1/6, horse dead. That's insanely good. He is 40 points now, and it is starting to add up now. We are going to be getting less hobbits for our points, and I think that's good. It's going to speed the game up, but what's going to slow it down is the traps. They're still in the game. I really like them thematically. I don't love them for match play, just for the speed of having to place them, reveal them, roll more dice. But essentially the traps are the same as what they were before, I think. So we've got the same 3 warrior options, which is militia, archers, and sheriffs. So the militia are just awful. Move 4, fight 1, strength 2, defense 3, 1 attack, 1 wound. They're awful, but they're only 4 points. I thought there was a chance they'd go up to 5 points. They've still got resistant to magic. They've still got throw stones. But at 4 points, you get what you pay for. Hobbit archers are the same. They're a little bit more intelligent, and their fight value 2 instead of 1. And they come with a bow. A short bow, should I say. Sorry, so that's going to be 18 inches, strength 2. And their shoot value is 3+, and they're only 5 points. So you want to be packing as many archers in as you can. And then you've got the sheriffs, who are fight value 3. They've also got the hand and a half weapon, which is much better than it was before. The natural 6 roll counts as a 6 now, so you're not going to get -1 on that. That's going to help them out a lot. They're 5 points, and people like Holfoot obviously can make them much better as well. So I'm really happy with how the Hobbits are looking. I love that they've all gone up in points a little bit, so it's going to be a massive horde of Hobbits, but not an uncontrollable horde of Hobbits. I think you're insane if you take them. If you take all those heroes, there's just so many different synergies. You've got to remember who's within 3 inches of that person, and who can buff these, and who's been upgraded to a Tuckish Hunter and who's not. But I think at small points games, they could actually be really, really fun. But next is Grimbeorn and the Beornings. Grimbeorn doesn't look to have changed too much, but then the bears were relatively new, and they were a really good profile anyway. He's got dominant 2 when he's in man form. That's not going to matter. He's got dominant 5 when he's in bear form, so that is a real boost to the Beornings. They come with monstrous charge as standard, and he can change skin, from bear to man freely. But otherwise, very similar to how he used to be. I thought maybe he would go up to fight value 8, but not be able to strike or something like that. But this is a good, safe profile. Beornings I've loved since they've released them. They're some of the best models in the game, and I like that they're kind of an elite army. They're fight value 5, strength 4, defense 4, 2 attacks, 2 wounds, courage and intelligence 5, and they're 20 points. So that's essentially the same as what they were in the previous edition. They come with a hand and a half weapon and a hand weapon. they can swap that for a great bow, which is a strength 4 bow. They're burly, and they treat bear models as a banner. Really, really good, solid profile. I thought there was a chance they might get dominant too. I've not seen the Beorning's army list, but I think that would probably be too much for them. It means it's more focused around the bears. If you want to really dominate on something, if somebody's got a troll on something, you've probably not got enough Beornings to get more models on there. You're going to have to send a bear to deal with it, which I like. Garnbury Garn and his Wozers are next, and he's 65 points, so it's the same as he was before. Fight value 4, shoot value 3+, which is important for Garn. Strength 4, defense 4, 2 attacks, 2 wounds, courage and intelligence 6, and then might 3, 1 will, 1 fate. He had 3 might before. I thought maybe he would go down with the readjusting of might in this version of the game. That's not happened. He also hates goblins, orcs, and Uruk Hai, so you're getting +1 to wound when you're fighting those. He's got a poison blowpipe, stalk unseen, and woodland creature, and he's got a new rule. Whenever a friendly Druidan model within 6 inches of Garn that's within a piece of woodland terrain suffers a wound, roll a d6. On a natural 6, the wound is ignored. So similar to what the Mirkwood Rangers had in their Legion in the previous edition. Okay, Tom Bombadil. We've got 6-inch move, question marks for all of his other stats, except he's got 12 will. There's a big old paragraph here basically saying you can't hurt him, you can't do anything to him, you can't charge him unless they let you charge him. And if he charges, he automatically wins the combat. Tom's invincible in that sense, but he's got 12 will points. And if he's in combat, he has to give up a will point. But what he's got is these songs that he can also spend a will point to sing. He says he can do them as many times as he wishes during his activation unless otherwise stated. Choose a friendly model within 6 inches of Tom. The chosen model immediately regains a single wound lost earlier in the battle. That can only be chosen once per turn, that one, so you can give a wound back every turn. Until the end of the turn, friendly models that begin their activation within 6 inches of Tom may add 3 inches to their move and will treat all areas of difficult terrain as open ground. So I guess that's not cumulative, otherwise you're just going to be like charging, I don't know, the Hobbits 12 inches into people or Aragorn or something like that. So then he's got 3 more. Choose a friendly model within 6 inches of Tom Bombadil. You recover from the effects of enemy magical powers cast upon them, and they can't be chosen as the target of a magical power. So that's obviously because he's fighting against Barrow-wights. So he can recover the Hobbits from paralysis and then make it so that the Barrow-wights can't immediately target them again. Within 6 inches of Tom, you can pass any courage tests you're required to take. So I guess if you're broken, that's useful. And then he can choose a spirit model within 6 inches of Tom, and it can make it immediately suffer a wound. That can only be done once per turn as well, but it's obviously meant for fighting Barrow-wights, but against the Ringwraith or the Balrog, he could, over 10 turns, kill a Balrog if he wants to, but just wounding it and getting points for wounding the leader, or getting it down to the point where the army's broken, like with Sauron. Tom's good. I like that he's not just about running in, sitting in an objective, and then holding it and automatically winning fights. You've got to commit the will to actually do that. Because he doesn't have a control zone now. Sorry, that's the key piece of information that I didn't share. So because he's not got a control zone, he can't lock down objectives, and I do like that. Unless I'm misinterpreting that. But Tom's complicated. He's better than he was. I don't anticipate using him ever. Now, in the Warhammer community article, they said that there would be reason to take Goldberry and Tom, and they'll have their own songs. So I'm just going to see what Goldberry's got. But I can see her stats are the same. She's got the same rules about automatically winning fights and things, but she's only got 8 will. So Goldberry's got 3 very cool powers, and they can all only be done once per turn. She's 80 points, and remember, she's got 8 will, and if she does charge in, she will have to give up a will point. In theory, you're probably not charging her in anyway. She can make a friendly model within 6 inches or regain a wound. Obviously, Tom can do that too, so you could be giving back 2 wounds per turn, but the combined points of Tom and Goldberry is 200. Choose an enemy model within 6 inches of Goldberry. It can't be activated that turn, but can otherwise act normally in all other phases. So if you win priority, you can just say to the Balrog, you're not moving. That is very good in terms of power in the game and things like that. I don't love just shutting down other people's big models in that way. Like if you're fighting against Smaug or something, it's going to not feel great for the Smaug player, but then they bought Smaug, so. And then the last one is she can make a friendly model within 6 automatically pass all courage checks, and then if that model charges in, they increase their fight value by 1 to the end of the turn. That's very good, especially in the list where she's probably going to be with Aragorn and Glorfindel and Arwen, who's going to be souped up with Frodo. She can go to fight 7. Very, very good little rule that. But you can't take her unless you take Tom, so she is 200 points, but you get Tom as well. So next, it's Rohan, and we've got Daewine and Elfhelm, and they are the only Rohan heroes in here. So, Daewine's Fight 5, Strength 4, Defense 7, 2 attacks, 2 wounds. He's got 2 might, 2 will, 2 fate. He was 3-1-1 before, and that is a pattern of this edition, where 3-1-1 type heroes do seem to be going to 2-2-2 or similar. He's got Expert Rider, Horse Lord, he can lead Royal Guard, and is a sworn protector to Theoden. He's got Heroic Strike, which is crucial, and Heroic March, and it's only 70 points, so 90 on his horse. He's a very good hero, and he's still got his Heroic Combat rule, where if Theoden's in combat, he can call a free Heroic Combat to go and help Theoden. It's very good for bouncing models around. If you've got Daewine, yes, Daewine has to move to help Theoden, but if Aemma's in there with him as well, Aemma can bounce off and go somewhere else. Very good, solid hero. Obviously lost a point of might, but gained a point of fate. Good hero. Elfhelm then. So he's fight 4, shoot value 3+, strength 4, defense 6, 3 attacks. 3 attacks on Elfhelm. Nice. 2 wounds, courage 6, intelligence 6, and then his might, will, and fate is 2-1-2. He was 3-1-1 before. But 3 attacks is massive, and he's actually gone down to 60 points from 65 points. His horse is obviously going to cost him 20, so he's going to be 80 points on horse. He's got Heroic Accuracy, Heroic Defense, and Heroic March, so no Heroic Strike. And only being fight 4 in the current edition is really not very good. But he's all about his Super Throwing Spear, and it's the same as before. He never suffers the -1 penalty for moving and shooting with it. And when he uses his Throwing Spear, he can re-roll to hit, to wound, and in the way rolls. And then he's got 3 attacks when he gets stuck in. Loving the look of Elfhelm. Very, very cool. Then we're on to Gondor and Aenor. Really quickly is fight 6, strength 4, defense 7, 3 attacks, 3 wounds, 3 might, 3 will, 1 fate. He can't ever not accept a heroic challenge, and he has to charge at an enemy hero if he's able to do so. If you watch the teams tournament, you'll know that I managed to bait a poor Aenor out in that one. But it's good fun. I like a rule like that makes you think and position your models well, and sometimes just makes you go in and charge. He's got Strike, Resolve, and Challenge, and then he's got the Master Duelist, so he can match the fight value of an enemy before heroic strikes. So really, really good profile. Love the model, but we've kind of seen him in Rise of Angmar, so I'm going to move on. So Cure in the Tall's next, and I'm hoping he stays similar to how he was in the previous edition. I really like the Masterforged Sword, and I really like the rule where if you kill the enemy general, you don't get the victory points unless you also kill Cure, and it makes him like the ultimate bodyguard. Love that. And if you're with a general like Boromir, who you want to throw in, or the new Gandalf the White, he kind of lets you do that a bit more without having to worry too much, so he's very good in the game as well. He's stayed at fight value 5, which surprises me. I thought maybe he'd go up to fight 6. Strength 4, defense 6, 2 attacks, 2 wounds, and then he's 3-1-1, so he's not like 2-2-2. He has remained at 3 might, 1 will, 1 fate. And he's got his Master Forged Sword, so he's going to be getting +1 to wound. He's not got Dominant 2, which is what myself and Aaron predicted he might get because he's so tall. And in our defence, Fatty Bolger got Dominant 2, so Cure in the Tall definitely should have got Dominant 2. We're expecting an FAQ on that imminently, Games Workshop. Within 3 inches of your general, he'll automatically pass courage checks required to take, and he'll reroll wound rolls of a natural 1. And then Whilst Huron's alive on the battlefield, your opponent cannot score victory points for wounding or slaying the enemy general if your general has the Gondor keyword. So I guess if he's in the Defenders of the Pelennor list, which I would expect him to be, and you've got King Theoden, Huron's not protecting him. You're going to want to be taking Gandalf or maybe Irolas, something like that. Ingold's gone up to fight value 5, and he's got fight value 5, strength 4, defense 7, 2 attacks, 2 wounds, courage and intelligence 6, and then he's 2/2/2 now instead of 3/1/1. I like that might is more of a commodity now. It's always the thing that dictates whether a game is won or lost, and now it's even more valuable. So to me, it makes the game even more skillful deciding when to use it. I suppose there's a chance maybe it makes it a little more swingy because it relies on more on the roll-off. But I do think the better players make the better use of might, and having less of it probably makes the better players win more, and that's a good thing. He's got shield wall, so obviously he can go up to defense 8. And then he's got his same backing away rule where the enemy backs away, Ingold doesn't back away. He can still be trapped, you can still get double strikes against him, but he's not going to give away ground. So if he's holding an objective, you're going to have to kill him to take it. And it applies to warriors within 3 inches of him as well, so he really can lock down an objective. He's got heroic defense and heroic strike. I thought maybe he'd lose heroic strike, especially if he's gone up to fight value 5. So he's a really, really good hero for 70 points. And next it's Beregond, and Beregond has had the glow up that we predicted and wanted. So 65 points for Beregond. We were hoping he would have like +1 to wound for Citadel Guard like Irolas, or maybe re-roll 1s to hit. So let's see. We've got fight value 5+, shoot 3+, strength 4, defense 6. He's now 2 attacks and 2 wounds. Courage 6, intelligence 5, and 2/2/2 might will fate. So a good, solid stat line. He's got heavy armor, a hand weapon, and a longbow. Heroic accuracy, so no heroic strike, just heroic accuracy, and is a bodyguard. And his unlikely friendship rule. Whilst within 3 inches of Pippin, Beregond can re-roll all failed to wound rolls when making strikes. He's good. He's not earth-shattering though. Would I rather take Ingold? I think for 5 points more, I'd rather take Ingold. Or for 15 points more, I'd rather take Huron with the victory point special rule and 3 points of might. But I like that there's more reason to take Pippin. And I guess with Gandalf, he's very good. And I'm interested to see how he sits in certain lists. He can't lead Citadel Guard either, I'm seeing on here. Are Citadel Guard elite units? I'm pretty sure they are. And he's not got leader Citadel Guard, which surprises me. But I'm really happy he's got the glow up. Maybe 5 or 10 points too many, but big fan of Beregond. Would love to see a new model. The Avenger Bolt Thrower is next. This is one of Louis' favourite models in the game. It looks to be exactly the same as it was before. I still think it's undercosted at 60 points. So basically you've got D6 shots at strength 7, no minimum range. They're just like bow shots, so they're not firing through any models or anything like that. But it's crazy powerful, and people fear them. You can lock down a side of a battlefield quite easily with 1 or 2 of these. Swift reload is still 20 points. I would never take that. Just always get the extra bolt thrower. But 2 of these things are just deadly, and 3 is possible, but a bit oppressive. I think I'd like to have seen them go 75 points, but really good models, like really cool models. Really good on the battlefield. Definitely going to see some use. I think you're always going to take 1 of these or even 2 of these instead of a trebuchet, because a trebuchet is 100 points and it's got like this fixed firing arc. A bolt thrower is always going to be the more competitive option, but that's okay. It just is what it is. Feifdoms are next, and it's Prince Imrahil of Dol Amroth, and I have seen this profile. He's gone up to fight value 7, which is excellent. So it's fight 7, strength 4, defense 7, 3 attacks, 3 wounds, courage 4, intelligence 3+, 3 might, 3 will, 3 fate. His standfast is 12 inches rather than 6, which is also great. And Dol Amroth models treat him as a banner for 6 inches. That's great, except in the previous edition it was 12 inches. He's also 160 points now. He was 140 before. He's got heroic defense, resolve, strength, and strike, and he has to pay 30 points for his armored horse and lance. He's a really, really good, solid hero, and I actually don't disagree with the changes. I think that's the right change. A 12-inch banner is ridiculous. I mean, has any hero got a 12-inch banner in the game? You're looking at King Aragon. He's got a 6-inch banner. So 6-inch banner is right. For me, it's the points value that is wrong. I think leave him at 140 points, reduce the banner to 6 inches, and you're probably about right. Captains of Dol Amroth then were fight value 5, which means then that the warriors of Dol Amroth have remained at fight value 4. So strength 4, defense 7, 2 attacks, 2 wounds, and 2/1/1 Might Will Fate. They haven't got shield wall, and they're 65 points. Within 3 inches of Prince Imrahil, they gain a bonus of +1 to their fight value. So they can reach fight 6, which is excellent. I'm just going to compare that to a Captain of Minas Tirith and see how they stat up against each other points-wise. So Captain of Minas Tirith is 5 points less. Their stat line is exactly the same, but they've got shield walls, so they can get up to defense 8. So 5 points less and can get to defense 8, whereas the Captain of Dol Amroth gets +1 fight value within 3 inches of Imrahil. I think you're always taking the Captain of Minas Tirith if you've got the option. Armoured Horse and Lance is nice, but 30 points is a lot for that. Fight value 6 is good. Yeah, I think you're taking them for thematic reasons rather than competitively. It depends obviously on the army list and that kind of thing, but point for point, the Captain of Minas Tirith seems better. And I mean, especially considering Iralas as well is 65 points, and he's given +1 to wounds and all kinds of stuff. Knights of Dol Amroth, same as they were before. Fight value 4, strength 3, defense 6, 1 attack, 1 wound. They can get +1 fight value within 3 inches of Imrahil, which is going to make them fight 5 like that. But you're looking at 20 points for an armoured horse and lance. Again, compared to a Knight of Gondor, that seems very, very expensive. So both fight 4, both strength 3, both defense 6, both 1 attack, both 1 wound. The Knight of Dol Amroth has got a slightly better courage and intelligence, but they haven't got bodyguard or anything like that. So maybe that's 1 point there. They've got an armoured horse, which is maybe 2 points. So that would, compared to a Knight of Minas Tirith, put them on 17 points. So then you're paying 3 points to get +1 fight value within 3 inches of Imrahil. That's a lot. Right, Forlong the Fat. He's always been a really good hero. And he's fight 5, strength 5, defense 6, 2 attacks, 3 wounds, courage and intelligence 6+, and he's 3/1/1. So he is a good little might battery with his 3 might points. He's got the Horn of Lassanac. That's a war horn, and once per game he can make friendly models within 12 inches of him have the Terror special rule. That's really cool. He's 10 more points than he used to be, and he's lost his horse option. That is a bit of a blow, but I'm actually loving Forlong. You can also make Lassanac models within 3 inches, re-roll rolls of a 1 when making strikes. But very, very cool. Big fan of Forlong. Axeman of Lassanac, fight 4, strength 3, defense 5, 1 attack, 1 wound, courage and intelligence 7, and then they can use their Axe of Lassanac as either a spear or a two-handed weapon. 9 points. Cool. Angbor the Fearless. Fight value 5, strength 4, defense 5, 2 attacks, 2 wounds, courage 5+, intelligence 7+, poor Angbor, and he's a 2/2/2 now. He's got armor and two-handed weapon, fearless and mighty blow. Oh, and he can march and strike. Oh, Forlong's only got strength. That is a minus point against Forlong, but I don't think he had strike before. But Angbor's got march and strike, and within 3 inches of him, Lamadon models automatically pass courage checks they're required to take. So Angbor, pretty good, 70 points. He's obviously very squishy, but at least he's got 2 fate now. Good for going up against like a monster. Two-handed weapon, roll your 6 to keep it as a 6, and then you've got mighty blow at +1 to wound. You could be doing some real damage. Clansman of Lamadon, fight value 4, strength 3, defense 4, 1 attack, 1 wound, courage 6, I'm pretty confident they used to be courage 5. But I guess it's because they automatically pass within 3 inches of Angmor. I'm anticipating the army bonus for the Feifdoms either increasing the range of these 3-inch buffs or making it so they all overlap, so it doesn't matter if it's Lamadin or Dol Amroth or something like that. But 8 points, and within 3 inches of a friendly Lamadin hero, you can re-roll dual rolls of a natural 1. They haven't got Cleaving Blow. I really thought they would have that. That's the one that the Mordor Uruk Hai have, where if they roll a 6 to wound, it actually inflicts 2 wounds. I'm a bit sad about that. I don't hate the profile. They're decent, and I'll probably take a few if I was taking this army, but I do miss. I do think that was a missed opportunity. Right, Dunir. So he's got the same stat line as before. He's got Sharpshooter now. He can re-roll failed hit wounds. Sorry, he can re-roll failed hits when shooting at an enemy monster model. If he successfully wounds it, he causes D3 wounds. I like that. I wish it was like a Mighty Blow where it always did 2. I just feel bad for the monster controlling player. If you shoot an eagle and you roll to do 3 wounds, that eagle is gone. Whereas maybe if it was 2 wounds, it'd just be causing a bit of damage, but not be utterly insane. And then friendly Blackroot models within 3 inches of him can re-roll 1s when making shooting attacks. The Blackroot Vale Archers hit on a 3+, otherwise they're kind of Rangers of Gondor. And if they're benefiting from a heroic shoot, anybody ever done a heroic shoot? No. This model can re-roll failed to wound rolls when making shooting attacks. That is a reason to do a heroic shoot. If you can get them in Defenders of the Pelennor list, you can pair them with Aragorn. I know Harry on Entmoot did that for a tournament. I don't love the play style of it. You're going to have to sit back, heroic shoot, really, really grind the opponent down with shooting. Other than using Aragorn, it's a big use of a point of might unless you know you're fighting against something that's defense 3 or 4 and you're going to be killing them on 5s. So it's Kingdoms of Men next. That's going to be Arnor, Dale. I think that's probably it. And it's Arvedui first. Fight 5, strength 4, defense 6, 3 attacks, 2 wounds, 3-2-1. He's got a 12-inch standfast. He can strike, strength, and defense. Pretty simple rules. He's only 80 points, so he's a pretty good value hero, but very squishy at 2 wounds, 1 fate. Melbeth is fight 3, strength 3, defense 4, 1 attack, 2 wounds, 1-2-1 might, will, fate, and he can make you not suffer a wound on the roll of a 5+. If you're within 6 inches of him, and he's got 4 sight points in the same way Elrond does, so he can alter priority. He's a must for 80 points. He's one of the best support heroes in the game. Araneth's got 2 shots, Hatred Angmar, fight 5, strength 4, defense 5, 2 wounds, 2 attacks, 3-2-2. And friendly Dunedain models treat Araneth as a banner, even though we know the Dunedain are a bit rubbish, so you're probably not going to see them anyway. And then Argadir is fight 5, strength 4, defense 7, 2 attacks, 2 wounds, 2-2-1. 85 points, but he comes with his horse and a war spear. He's got Hatred Angmar and Master of Battle 5+. He doesn't have Heroic Strike though, he's got Defense and March. I like him as a really good balanced profile. Captains of Arnor are pretty solid. Fight 5, Strength 4, Defense 7, 2 attacks, 2 wounds, 2-1-1. 60 points, Hatred Angmar. So that's the same as a Captain of Minas Tirith, but instead of Shield Wall, they've got Hatred Angmar. And they're less courageous. Warriors of Arnor are the same as a Warrior of Minas Tirith, but less courageous, but they come with a spear, and they've got Hatred Angmar. So for 8 points, Fight 4, Strength 3, Defense 6, 1 attack, Courage 8+, Intelligence 7+. Knights of Arnor are the same as that, but mounted on a horse for 15 points. And Rangers of Arnor are 8 points. They're exactly the same as a Ranger of Gondor. And then Arathorn is Fight 5, Strength 4, Defense 5, 3 attacks, 2 wounds, 3-2-1. So another really squishy hero. I don't think you can take Arathorn and Arvedui in one list, so that would be very, very killy, but I don't think they ever cross over. I think there might be like hundreds of years between them. So, and Halbarad, Fight 5, Strength 4, Defense 5, 2 attacks, 2 wounds, 3-2-1. And he's got a banner that is 6 inches rather than 3, and you automatically press courage checks if you're within 6 and you can see the banner. For me, that was a missed opportunity for the Rangers to really benefit from that. They've got high courage anyway. They could have made that like Boromir's banner, so that the Rangers at least go to fight 4.5, because I've seen the Ranger profile. And well, it's the next one. So a Ranger of the North is fight 4, strength 4, defense 4, 1 attack, 1 wound, courage 6, intelligence 6, might, will and fate 1/1/1, shoot value 3+. 25 points. They come with a bow. They've got heroic accuracy. The assumption was that that profile was going to change when the PDF became a book, and it hasn't. For me, there should be 2 attacks, fight 5. If not that, you could make Halbrad's banner count like Boromir's banner, so to give them fight 4.5, just to tip them over the edge. You don't want them drawing with a regular Minas Tirith or an Uruk-hai. And fight 4 this edition is much less than what fight 4 was in the previous edition. They could have given them maybe a heroic strike as well. So instead of just heroic action, you still got to spend your might point on it. It's not free or anything, but heroic strike as an option could be quite cool. Giving them heroic strike and making the banner fight 4.5, but keeping the points the same, and then making them 2 attacks. Maybe 30 points, 2 attacks with those benefits, something like that. I don't know. You don't need to go crazy. It just needs a little tweak here or there, but they just need something more than what they have. I do think that. There is one key thing that Louis mentioned to me. The readjusting of might points does make might more valuable, and you can get 20 might points with these guys in a list. Most lists can't have access to that now. Those 3/1/1 heroes are now 2/1/1. 2 might heroes are now got 1 might. But it's not enough, but it is worth mentioning. But up next, it's King Brand of Dale. Fight value 5, he's not gone up to fight value 6. Strength 4, defense 7, 3 attacks, 3 wounds, courage intelligence 5, 3/3/1, 12-inch standfast, and if he's trapped, he can re-roll a d6 for a dual roll. Resolve, strength, and strike, I believe, and at 110 points is exactly the same as he was in the previous edition. But he's one of the latest models we got. So that's the same rules writer, and I imagine he's put his stamp on the game already at that point and is probably quite happy with it. But cool profile. Bard the Second also looks to be the same. If he gets charged, he gets +1 to wound making strikes, which is the same as the Knights of Dale, who are 11 points, fight 4, strength 3, defense 6, 1 attack, 1 wound. That rule is better now than it used to be, because now you can give priority to the opponent. I love the idea of giving priority to the opponent and then getting +1 to wound of them. So all these drawers behind me, by the way, I've had a little rearrange in my room. I've put lights up and things. I will be blocking out these side lights at some point. There's 1 empty drawer in here, and it's Dale. I would like to get it filled with a few Dale models. If anybody does the SBG Secret Santa, hit me up with some Dale. But yeah, that's Dale. One day I'll use them, but I haven't got any models at the moment. Aaron's got a bit of a collection, but I think he's working on other things right now. Glorfindel, we've seen. From what I gather, nothing has changed from the Rise of Angmar PDF, but he is incredible. 160 points, fight value 8, strength 4, defense 7, 3 attacks, 3 wounds, courage and intelligence 3+, 3s across the board, might, will and fate. He's got armor of Gondolin, which makes him resistant to brutal power attacks, resistant to magic, horse lord, expert rider, terror, woodland creature himself, +1 to wound when making strikes against monsters, and he's got Lord of the West, so he can re-roll a d6 for wounding and in the dual roll. And of course, two-handed weapons, elven two-handed weapons are better than they used to be. He can charge it on his horse, two-handed weapon against a monster with +2 to wound. Absolutely insane. Love Glorfindel. If you've seen the teens video, you'll know that I played against one recently. Didn't go too well for him. He rolled 4 attacks charging in, plus a banner, plus a Lord of the West, and he'd gone two-handed. They were all 1s and 2s, so he rolled a 1 high, which was great for me. The twins, Eldar and Elwar here, I did have spoilt for me, but they're fight 6, strength, shoot 3+, strength 4, defense 6, 2 attacks, 2 wounds, courage and intelligence 4, and then 2/2/2, might, will and fate. Elladan has heroic strike and strength, whereas Elwar here has defense and strike, so I like that little change. Otherwise, they're identical. They've lost their bow option, which is a bit of a shame, but they do come with armor now, and they're 160 points still. So you're getting 3 armor versus the previous profile. If one of them dies, they increase their strength by 1, but they've got to charge the model that killed their brother, or any enemy model, especially the model that killed their brother, and they have to heroic challenge against them. They can fight with 3 attacks rather than 2. They can use their weapons as hand and half weapons, or they can parry to shield. And whilst within 3 inches of each other, they gain the dominant 2 special rule and can reroll 1s when making strikes, which is pretty cool. I'm looking forward to taking these guys in the Rivendell list though. Elrond, Arwen, the twins in Rivendell, using that when your army's broken, you can cast crazy powers, getting them mounted on horses. Could be a really cool thematic army list, but Grey Company is where my heart is at for them, so I'm hoping the Grey Company is decent. From what I gather about Rangers of the North, it's probably not. Rumil doesn't seem to have changed apart from his might, will and fate. So his fight 6, strength 4, defense 7, 2 attacks, 2 wounds, and then 2, 1, 2 for might, will and fate. He's got heroic defense, and he's still got his incredible rule where you can make a opponent re-roll a dual roll. So if they roll a 6 against you in the dual roll, you can say re-roll that dual roll, and then it becomes a 2, and they can't even might it. They can might it if it's 5, but if you re-roll it lower, I mean. Rumil's great, and then he's like the opposite to Orifin, who's his brother, who's fight 6, strength 4, defense 6, 3 attacks, 2 wounds, 2, 1, 1 for might, will and fate. And if he rolls a 6 in his dual roll, then he can doubles the number of strikes that he causes on the opponent, and he's got heroic strength but not strike. And then Haldir, their brother, has accuracy and strike. So between the 3 of them, you've got all bases covered. But really cool thematic models. Love them. Would like to see them used. I think Louis probably got dibs after how he performed at teams with the just captains and 200 weapons. He's absolutely loving his Lothlorien at the moment. Add a few spears to that and you've got a pretty competitive army. Then we've got some extra elite units for the Lothlorien, which is much needed. We've got the Wood Elf Sentinel, God of the Galadhrim Court, and Galadhrim Knights. So Wood Elf Sentinels, fight 5, shoot 3+, strength 3, defense 3, 2 attacks, 1 wound, encourage intelligence 5+. They come with a bow and an elven cloak. Once per turn, you sing a song or play a flute. I don't know. You can make a chosen model automatically pass a courage check or pass all courage checks for the turn. You can make the Sentinel and all models within 3 inches cause terror. So that's a slight upgrade from before. It used to just be the Sentinel. And then you can choose an enemy model within 12 inches. That model takes an intelligence check. If it's failed, you just get to move them. I thought that would be like Spectres, where you have to move them directly towards you. It's not. You just move them as if it's that model's activation. You can't make them dismount, go in an enemy control zone or anything like that. But they're really good, and they're still only 25 points. Really good profile, that, and they're going to add a lot to the Lothlorien armies. God of the Galadhrim Courts, their fight value 6, strength 3, defense 5, 1, 1 for attacks and wounds, courage 4, intelligence 5. They've got heavy armor and elven pikes, and they can shield with their pikes. They're 12 points. But to get some fight 6, that's ridiculous for an infantry model. And to have pike support, you only need a couple of them just along the back line, just to make enemy heroes use heroic strike, essentially. Really, really good model and profile. And then Galadhrim Knights, which were underused in the last edition. Fight 5, strength 3, defense 5, 1 attack, 1 wound. It's the same profile as a regular Galadhrim, but they've got a horse, and the horse has woodland creature. That can be really useful. Yes, like if you want to dive through some terrain to get to a objective, for example, the enemy might have to move 4 turns through that, especially if you're being chased by cavalry, even more than that. So that makes them really, really good, but you don't want loads of them. They're not hitting very hard. Yes, they've got 200 weapons, which maybe are worth it, but I'd probably be taking 1 as a mobile banner and then 2 just to grab objectives. You're not going to build an army around them, although it would look pretty cool. Loving the look of Lothlorien this edition. I mean, I'm definitely going to be taking them to something, but I've got to wait till Louis had his time. But really like the Lothlorien profiles. And up next, it's the Dwarf holds. So that's going to be Durin and Khazad-dûm dwarves. And I have seen little bits and bobs of this, but Durin himself is a beast, like he always was. Move 5, fight value 7 now. So Aaron, I can't remember who said fight 7 and who didn't, but I think you said we fight 6. Durin is fight 7. Strength 4, defense 9, 3 attacks, 3 wounds, 3 might, 3 will, 1 fate, and he can challenge, defense, and strike. He's got Durin's Axe, which lets him re-roll a d6 when making a dual roll. It's also Master Forge, so he's getting +1 to wound. He's got the Ring of Durin, so he can automatically win priority side for his side for a turn. He's got his Crown, which on a 6+ he ignores wound, bearing in mind he's already defense 9. And then he's got a unique Warhorn, which also gives him the Terror special rule. He's fearless and he can lead Khazad-guard, and he can upgrade Khazad-guard to Hearthguard, which for +2 points a model gets them the Burly special rule. He's insanely good. He's gone up by 10 points, 170, but every dwarf army is going to be built around him. He's just so powerful. He doesn't have like a banner effect or anything. It's very much he's the best. He's not really buffing those around him. And whether Hearthguard are worth it now for 2 points, bearing in mind that a 6 is a 6 anyway for a turned weapon. And maybe you're better off getting an extra guy or 2. Mardin that I haven't seen, and I'm hoping he's had a bit of a buff. So it's fight value 5, strength 4, defense 8 instead of defense 7. 2 attacks, 2 wounds, and he's got 2/2/2 might, will, fate instead of 3/1/1. He's got a foe spear. This is a spear. Additionally, if a model with a foe spear is supporting a model with an iron shield, you gain a bonus of +1 to wound when strikes against monsters. And then Torozil is a unique foe spear. See page 66, implying it uses those rules with the Trollbane special rule. Additionally, Mardin gains an additional bonus of +1 to wound when making strikes against monsters. He's getting +2 to wound against monsters. Holy moly. He's got strike and strength, Swarm Protector Durin, and he's got the old Shield Bearer rule, but for Durin. So if Durin's in combat, he can do what Sam and Frodo do, where he calls a heroic combat and he can move to save him. Mardin's cool. He's 80 points instead of 75, and he's just a whole lot better. Big fan of Mardin. Love that. Dwarf Captains are solid. Fight 5, strength 4, defense 8, 2 attacks, 2 wounds, 2/1/1, heroic march. Exactly what you expect. Really good, solid things. So that defense 7 to defense 8 is huge because it means strength 3 does you on a 6x4, which makes you twice as hard to kill. Dwarf Warriors are exactly as they were. Iron Guard are also the same as they were before. They're fight 4, strength 4, defense 6, 2 attacks. They come with throwing weapons. Good, solid killing unit, especially in an army that isn't going to have access to spears other than the foe spear. Khazad-guard are fight 5 now. I did see that. And they've got turned weapons and hand weapons. Only decision really is whether to upgrade them to Hearthguard with Durin or not. 14 points a model is quite a lot, but fight 5 with +1 to wound is insane. Dwarf Rangers, fight value 4, strength 3, defense 5. They've got access to dwarf longbows, throwing weapons, and turned weapons. And they get +1 to wound when making strikes against a model as within a piece of difficult terrain, such as a piece of rocky terrain or a ruin. That's a nice little bonus. I think you could maybe sprinkle 6 of those in. Vault Wardens are my favourite dwarf unit. They just look so cool. I really need to get on the Dwarves of Khazad-dûm for this. I thought maybe they got up to fight 5 when I saw the Khazad-guard have, and they haven't gone up to fight 5. Looking at this, they've lost their immunity to brutal power attacks. So they get +3 defense from the shield, and it's -1 on duels if they're not supported by a foe spear. But it doesn't say you can't brutal power attack them anymore. And then the foe spears give +1 to wound when making strikes against monsters, and they are strength 4 by default. And defense 9 is obviously insane. Even without a foe spear, taking a -1 duel roll and just taking the hit, it's going to be so hard to kill. I love them. I love the idea of just getting a whole row of them and just like locking down the middle of the board and being like, right, come at me. Dwarf Ballistas are very similar to the Uruk High Ballistas. They're 70 points. And I do think siege equipment in this edition is very good. Maybe that's just because I've just suffered at the hands of 4 Wind Lancers. but definitely worth a look at. For 70 points, you're going to be flinging models back, knocking them prone, and with monsters being so prevalent, especially things like eagles and the Balrog, a ballista is pretty good. And then I think this is going to be, yeah, this is the last two models. Then we've got Dane Ironfoot, King Under the Mountains. This is Old Dane when he dies outside the gates of Erebor. Old Dane, then we've got fight value 6, strength 4, defense 8, 3 attacks, 3 wounds, 3 might, 3 will, 1 fate. He's got a Master Forged Turned weapon. We know that is Dane. Heroic challenge, resolve, strength, and strike. He's fearless. He's getting a bit old now, so he has to roll 2 dice and pick the lowest when he's taking jump, climb, or leap tests. And his standfast covers the entire battlefield and affects friendly dwarf hero models. That's huge. He's just a good solid hero. 130 points. He's fine. He's good. Cool model. Depends what list he fits into, I suppose. And then we've got Thorin the Third. 110 points. Fight value 6. Strength 4. Defense 9. I'm pretty sure he was defense 8 in the last one. 3 attacks. 2 wounds. Courage 4. Intelligence 5. 3, 3, 3. Might, will, and fate. So he's definitely got better stats all around than Dane. Strike, defense, and strength. And whenever he declares a heroic action, roll a d6 on a 5+, it's free. And he can change the type of heroic action after the opponent's made a heroic action. He's really good for 110 points. Really good. Defense 9, 3, 3, 3, 3 attacks, and he's got a 5+ infinite might and heroic strike. Really good hero, Thorin the Third. Only 2 wounds, I suppose, is a big thing, but a defense 9 with 3 fate. Just chuck him in. He'll be fine. That's crazy. And that is it. So the next is a good army list, which we'll probably do as a separate video. And hopefully we'll see you there. But I'm thoroughly enjoying the look of the Lothlorien reinforcements. Khazad-dûm looks really cool, although I've never been much of a dwarf player. They're a little slow for me. I like a bit of mobility and to be on the front foot. Arnor I really like. All in all, love it. And the Hobbits, obviously that was a bit of a slog going through the Hobbits at the start there. I will use them. We will use the Hobbits. I'm probably not going to take them to a tournament, but we're definitely going to get them on the channel. They're some of our best painted models. But yeah, really, really happy with it so far. Right, we'll see you again soon for the army lists of the good half of the armies of Lord of the Rings. And then we'll do the evil profiles, evil army lists, we'll do the legacy models, and we'll do the match play guide. There's going to be a lot of content here on Two Trees Gaming. Hopefully you're enjoying it, and then we'll get back to some battle reports, tournament reviews, and all the usual stuff. But we'll see you again soon.